So we downloaded our pictures from a Blackboard, scratch that, Blackboard, and log in with your same login as your email. Kind of nice that it'll have a different login name for every one of these. So Tech Concepts, which is the new intro to info, and you go to assignment, and if I scroll down here, here's the pictures. You don't even have to open this up. You're just going to right click and save each one of these. And like I said before, we should have a subfolder inside your your intro to info folder. If I can find it. Here, 5th period intro. And then I made a new folder right here. You hit new folder, or you right click, new folder. And then you double click on that folder, and here's where we saved all those pictures. So then you go to File Manager, and in File Manager you'll see all 7 pictures. And you notice these buttons up here? If you don't have those buttons, you just click this down arrow right here to get your menu bar, and you look at View, and you have large icons, extra large icons. That's where you can actually see those pictures. And the one we're going to be using is Details. Details. And you notice that when you go over the top of the title bar, you can see the shadow on those. We want to click on tags. Right click. We right click on tags, and we just take tags off of there. And the one that we do want on here, you can click any place. We want to have dimensions instead of tags. I'm going to click this on again. So we downloaded those from Blackboard Learn. Everybody has that. And they're in, right now, they're in a detailed view. And you can change that real easily up here. I usually just use icons or details. Now when you see the screen, did I talk about the screen? The screen is, if you go to I'll just go to my desktop. Your desktop's different because I've got mine set up for the projector. So if I right click on my desktop and go to screen resolution, my screen resolution is 1024 by 768, so that it fits on my projector. Yours is 1366. We did it in the first period class. Yours is 1366. Mine's 1024. So when you see a picture, 3008 pixels, and a pixel is just a dot, and I've got 1024 dots on mine, you can have 16 or 1366, which actually compresses the icons and everything. When you have the larger the pixel numbers you have, the smaller the images get because you're shoving more pixels into the same area. When I see 3000 pixels, this picture is actually going to expand 3 times as large as my screen. And anytime you double click on a picture, it'll usually open it up, it'll resize it. This picture, to see the true size of a picture, you need to know this. You might want to put that in your notes. If you right click on the picture, open with Paint, Paint shows you the true size of a picture. So basically you can just see your thumb on here. And if you look over here, there's the forehead. This is a very large picture. What we want to do is take this picture right here, and I'm going to open it with Paint and Photoshop. So first I'm going to open it with Paint, and I want to resize it. And you see where it says percentage? That's almost impossible to figure out. So you go to pixels, and with websites and things that you're going to be doing, you usually don't want over 850 pixels. So I'm going to just do 850. And say OK, and you see that 850 goes across right here. Now if you were going to open up this picture and resize it to 850, it'd probably be right in here someplace because you have more pixels across the screen. I have 1024, it moves it all the way over to here. Yours would be over here somewhere when you open it up. So I saved it, I'm going to do a save as. Don't save it or it'll go over the top. And the reason you don't want to save it over the top of the large picture is you may need that large picture someday. like when I take basketball pictures and track pictures, I copy them and then I copy them again and then I'll resize them because the athletic director wants a picture of Courtney Dowling, and if I give her a picture of Courtney Dowling at 850 pixels across, and he wants to put it on a big board out at the track, it would just destroy it. It would look terrible. So I keep the large picture in case somebody needs it. So this is going to be, I'm going to say resize, and it's going to resize, and I use paint, right? So I resize this with paint. Now look at the difference. I've got one of them resized with paint's 135. This number has to be below 200. So is this one okay now?
Yeah.
Yes. So let's go ahead and open it up now with Photoshop. And if you don't have Photoshop, now listen very carefully. If you don't have Photoshop, you want to choose the default. If Photoshop's not in this list, just choose default program, but uncheck this because you don't want every picture to open with Photoshop because it's so slow.
Do you use the original one or the resized one?
Which one? What do you mean?
To open with Photoshop.
Oh, the big one now. This one's done now. You don't mess with this one anymore.
Right.
You go to the very big one and you open it with Photoshop. If you don't have it, choose default program, uncheck that, and then find Photoshop. If it's not in here, go to more options, and you will find Photoshop someplace in here.
Oh, there it is.
So I'm going to open it with Photoshop. When you right click and open with, when you find Photoshop once, it will always be there for you. So, and now I have it in Photoshop. To resize this image, you just go image size, and up this way. The larger number you make 850 or 900. We can go 900 too to make it even number. But this one is wider, so you do 900 up on top and say okay. And it's still a large picture if I would fit this on the screen.
Where's image size at?
And then what we want to do is save as, and we want to say this one is resize, but this one is Photoshop. Okay, so we resize it in Photoshop. Now this is very important. Right now it's at 158, is that acceptable? Yeah. Yes?
Yes.
And then we go higher, we're at 180 at 9. 10 is too large, so we can either do 8 or 9. If you bump it up to 12, that's the maximum resolution. You're at a half a million bytes. You don't want to do that. So either 8 or 9, depending on how. 9, if you can keep it under 200, that would be fine. So now I have one of them with paint and one of them with Photoshop, and it was only 108. So this one's basically done. Resize Photoshop, you have resize paint.
What can't it be bigger than?
200K. So this is 108K and this is 135K. Larger.
How come this BMP, it says
Yeah.
400, but it's like that?
Right. Now look at this BMP. That's what we're going to talk about next before we continue. Look at the BMP. It's only 735. And remember, you want this one about 850 or 900. It's actually smaller than, and the reason why it's so large, it's a bitmap. So all you have to do is open this with either Photoshop or Paint. You don't have to open this one with both of them. Paint's really easy to, all you have to do is save as, and you want to change it to a JPEG.
Oh, how do you?
Or you can do this, you can do save as, and you can just go over to JPEG right here. Save it as a JPEG. And that's all you have to do, and then just hit save. And then if you look at it, you have one of them as a bitmap is 862, the other one's 107. Just changing it to a JPEG.
So can we go in and make it bigger then?
No, you don't have to, leave it the same size. You would just image size, you leave the image the same size, you just do a save as, and you change it to a JPEG. You can't just put .jpg at the end of it, you have to actually change the bottom part to a format of a JPEG. and then it's at a high. This might make it a little bit larger file. Now I'm up to 135. I'm at 121. Yeah, so we're gonna do these both ways. So let's do Elvis Emily, and I open up with Paint. And you guys recognize this kid right here? There's me as Elvis, but this is somebody in my class, and it's Dusty. Dusty without hair. So he was a 5th grader when I did this for Mrs. Christopherson. He was a 5th grader. We did some Elvis songs. So then I'm going to do a save as. Never just do save, and I accidentally did do one of those. And this is going to be resize. Oops, resize, and this one is Paint.
Keep it at 900?
Yeah, 900. And remember with Christensen, you want the larger number on the back side, not the front side. Then I'm going to open up with Photoshop, the large one. Resize. This is just good to be able to resize things. Because I'll look at your websites, if your pictures are too big for your websites, and you get knocked off on your website, you gotta make these under 200 each, 200 KB. So I'll do 900, do a save as, resize, and this one is Photoshop.
How can you tell how many KB it is before you save it?
Oh, right here it says 431, and then I make it down to 8, and it says 133. I'm gonna do one more. I'll just do Olympics. Open with, let's do Paint.
Do we have to do them all with
Mr. Becker looks scary, doesn't he? There I am.
You
Nice.
look normal, but
Nice pants. So I'm gonna resize this down to 900, and then I'm going to save as. This one's going to be resize. This one is Paint, right? Open the same large. You want to open the larger one, not the smaller one. Open with. This is just good practice. You don't have to do it with both of them. You pick one or the other usually. So image size, and it's just getting you to learn how to do that. If it's a portrait photo, portrait up and down, you make the bottom number 900. So if it's an up and down picture, you make this one 900, but it's horizontal, so we do 900 here.
Alright, how many kilobytes is it you have to be under again? My bad.
200.
200, alright.
Yeah. I'll tell you this, if you do it both ways, you'll get an extra point of credit. If you just do it one way, Photoshop, but still tell what you did it in. This one was Photoshop. And if you just do it with just Paint,
Oh, it was 200.
oh, this one went up, was at 262, so it's a little bit too large. So I'm gonna open that one again. Open with, because there's so much stuff in it. It's a lot of stuff in this, especially those pants. Paint it went up to 262, so let me open that on again.
Paint is so uncomfortable.
Paint's too large, so let me resize it to 850.
It's 238 with 850.
So with 850, well, let me try mine once. Save. 231. Well, in this case, since we're at 850 and we saved it with Paint, this would probably be a better one to save with Photoshop. So you could pick the size of it. Paint's saving that in a higher quality than Photoshop, actually. The way that you show me that you've done this is you don't send me these stinking files. I don't want all of these files. What I want is a print screen of these files. I want you to just go Alt print screen or snipping tool. Yeah, snipping tool. When I say print screen, you can snip. You can snip. I want you to paste it into Word or Paint. Paste it. And then if you paste it, you can double click on this and crop it, and you can get some of the fluff out of it. See, I can bring down, and I can do this, and click outside, and this is the way I want it sent to me. Just one picture of all the files. And then upload that to Edmodo, either in Paint, or in Word, or in Photoshop. Okay? Then you're done. And hey, when you come back on, I was gonna say come back on Monday. This is Monday, isn't it? was thinking this Friday. No, okay. When you guys come back on Monday, we'll finish this up, and then I'll put something out there on Edmodo right now so you can upload it to Edmodo. It'll be called Resizing Pictures.